So as you know, when it comes to day trading in the stock market, there's tons and tons of indicators that you can use. And if you're a beginner, it can be super overwhelming. So that's why in this video, I'm gonna be showing you the best day trading indicators for beginners in 2023. These are indicators that I personally use. And in this video, I'm gonna be showing you real examples of trades I took using these exact indicators, so hopefully you can model this for yourself. So this is a trade I took last week and it made me around $900, right? So this is usually what I average per day, anywhere from that $500 to $1,000 per day mark. You can see, just to show some proof right here, this is my calendar for December of 2022, right? Luckily, we haven't had a red day this month, but we still have 2 days left of the month. So anyways, I'm gonna go back here and I wanna show you the indicators that I kind of use to actually take this trade. Now, for me personally, I don't use the typical indicators like a MACD and RSI, Bollinger Bands. I really don't even pay attention to EMAs that much. And the reason I don't use those common indicators that everyone talks about here on YouTube is mainly because that's what everyone is looking at, right? And if you're doing what everyone else is doing, chances are you're not going to win. You need some kind of edge. You need something that makes you different, and that's what's going to help you consistently stay green, okay? So the indicators I use is basically just looking at price action. Like I said before, you don't need any special indicator. All you have to pay attention to is price action, and there's really three things that comes into place when you're looking at price action. So if we look at this trade, as we can see, I entered this on, like I said, Wednesday at 7:43, which is 9:43 Eastern time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the chart right here. This is SPY, I'm trading options here. And as we can see, right, the first thing I look at when it comes to price action, like I said, there's three things. The first thing is the trend, right? What is the trend of the market? So if we look at pre-market, I think pre-market is a really, important thing that a lot of people just don't look at. Is look at what happened, right? We're making these higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? And we're doing that all pre-market. And the day before, right, again, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? We're doing that the whole day. So we can clearly see the trend is up, right? That's the first thing we want to pay attention to when it comes to price action. That basically means if you're trading options, you want to trade calls, right? You want to trade for the price going up. You want to follow the trend, right? You don't want to trade against the trend. So I knew coming into this day, before the market even opened, I was only going to take call. That was my mindset going into that. That was in my pre-market game plan. Now, the second thing I look for when it comes to price action, and this could be another indicator for you of what you're going to do, what trade you're going to take, is going to be looking at key levels, right? So this is basically support and resistance. Now, again, some people will trade just off support and resistance, but I think you really need to pay attention to these three things. That first thing is trend. Second thing is key levels, right? Support and resistance. So we can see we had a key resistance at this 385, and we had a key support at this 381 area, right? Everything else in here was just kind of chop. Obviously, we made some, we're making these patterns during pre-market, but it wasn't, key levels, right? I'm really looking for key levels. So kind of the way I'll use these key levels is like my profit targets. So if I was taking calls here, I'd want to, potentially exit out here, which eventually got to, right? As you can see. So since there weren't any really key levels, because keep in mind, I took this trade at 9:43, right? So my entry was literally right here on this candlestick. So one of the reasons I entered right here was you can clearly see that there was a resistance in pre-market here. And after we broke this level, what happens to resistance? Well, usually resistance becomes the new support, right? So this is the intraday support we're watching right here on the open, right? And as you can see, I took my trade right here. Now, why did I choose to take the trade specifically right here at 9:43? Well, that's going to take me to the third indicator I'm looking for when it comes down to price action, and that's going to be actually looking at the candles and volume. So as we can see, if we look at the candles here, right when we opened, we had a sell-off, which was fine, right? We were still above that pre-market level, so we're technically still making higher lows, so I wasn't worried about that. Now, once we got that big push up, keep in mind, I didn't have a position at this point, right? That's when I knew I was looking for a pullback for calls, right? I already knew the trend was up. I already knew, where my key levels are. We weren't really near any of those key levels. So I was really just looking for a pullback and seeing if we can keep another higher low here. And that's kind of what we did. The other thing I kind of paid attention to is this volume, right? We had a nice increase in volume, and And as soon as we had these red candles, right, as you can see, this first red candle, the second red candle, see how the volume was kind of declining? We had, more green volume than red volume. So that basically tells me that the selling pressure was lower than the buying pressure. And we can see when we got to this low near here, right, we immediately wicked up. So anytime you see those wicks, that kind of tells you that, buyers are buying it up. Or if we have, a strong red wick, we can see sellers are selling right there. But anyways, we had buyers step in. This is where I took my position. And again, my goal was to get to this key level that we had in pre-market. Obviously, we went much higher the rest of the day, but that's kind of what I was watching for my specific day trade, right? So let's go back here. So as you can see, my first exit was right here. Basically, the contracts move pretty nice. I always like to trim half of my position. So I trimmed half right here when we immediately got that push up, and then I trimmed the rest at that key resistance level that I just showed you. As you can see, the contracts went up pretty good there at 106, bought it for 86 cents. So made around a 17% profit on this trade in just a few minutes. Now, again, for this trade, I was not looking at the MACD, I was not looking at RSI, I was not looking at Bollinger Bands, I didn't care what the EMAs are doing. As you can see, the EMAs are kind of just all stacked together. What you really have to look for and pay attention to is the price action, right? And what that price action comes down to is those three things. What is the overall trend of the trade, right? So as you can see, we're making a trend up. As long as you bought calls or you're planning for the price to go up, you would have made a bunch of money, right? As you can see, the price went crazy that day. So chances are in your favor if you're just trading with the trend. Second thing is actually looking at the key levels. Where is the key support and resistance levels? Are you going to enter around there? Also looking at the intraday levels. So kind of when I took my entry here, we had a key resistance in pre-market. And since we broke that high, that resistance now turns into support because there's a bunch of buyers right here. And the third thing is looking at the actual candles, looking at the volume. Is it increasing volume? What are the candles telling you? Is it making higher lows on a smaller time frame? As we can see, immediately when I saw this higher low, that's when I took my entry. That kind of gave me confirmation to actually take the trade. Now, let me show you one more example, because again, this is basically the only thing I look at when it comes to actually trading. So this is a trade I took literally 2 days ago, and made $775, around 14% on this trade. So let's go ahead and look at this trade. We're gonna be paying attention to those three things I just talked about. So as we can see, we entered this at 7:43 again. So actually 9:43 Eastern time. As we can see, right, what is the first thing? We're looking at trend. We can see in pre-market, we had a massive gap down, right? So I already knew coming into this day before we even opened that we were looking for puts, right? I was looking for the price to go down so I can make money. Now, immediately, right when we opened, we tanked, right? We literally just tanked. I was looking for a push up, and then I was gonna take the put here. Unfortunately, I never got that opportunity. So as you can see, the price was literally just tanking. We went under the second thing you wanna pay attention to, which is the key level. We went just under that key level, that 381 support, and I was watching for a pop up. Right? I was watching for a pop up so I could enter a put position. Because again, I wasn't trying to predict a reversal, because that would be going against the trend. Even though we hit that support line, the trend was down. So I wasn't looking for a long position here. I wasn't looking for a call here. I was looking for a put, right? So I was looking for a pop up. So again, trend is down. We got the key level, we went just under it. Now we're popping up. Now I'm looking at the third thing, which is actual volume and the candles, right? So what is this kind of telling me here? If we actually look at these candles, as we can see, right, we had a bunch of doji candles. We had 1, 2, 3 doji candles in a row. So once I kind of saw that, I saw that there wasn't really any buyers coming in. As soon as we went up, right, sellers came in and sold off. We went up a little bit, sellers came in and sold off, right? So I entered the position right here at 9:43, and what do you know? Literally, a couple minutes later, we had a huge drop off, and this is where I took my profits, and that's how I ended up making that $775. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on the best day trading indicators for beginners. Use these. Don't use the typical things that everyone else is using. Look at the actual price action, and like I said, that comes down to three things, which is the trend of the actual price, the key support and resistance levels, and lastly, the volume and candles. What are they telling you? What's the story here? And that's where you can go ahead and get your your confirmation to actually enter the trade. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, all I ask you to drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Lets me know you want more videos like this. That being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Trade smart, trade safe, and I'll see you in my next video.